Good morning, everyone. So, while I've been doing my readings for this past week, I've noticed that a lot of um, people are going to be getting picked up. They are getting picked up, not only by the police, but the feds. It's a lot of corruption. Not just what people did to me, but what people did to other people. A lot of people are going after the magic and the spell work that was placed on them and their children and households. But this is not going to be for the weak and the weary. People going to have to understand that you can't continue to manipulate people just because you claim they're your friends or claim that y'all known each other for so long. But I've known people for so long, even if I knew of the person, people change, but a lot of people never change. People chose to overlook the errors of their friends and family members' ways. And a lot of people are in regret right now, trying to figure out what their next move is, but your next move is not going to be your best move, because you chose to side with people. You chose to pick a side and abandon the fact that, okay, what could happen if I get too deep into this? A lot of people thought that as long as they were able to control the waves, they would never sink and they would never drown. But it's harsh reality because you can't control the current waves, the current catastrophes that will render your endings. A lot of people are in regret right now. It's not no remorseful regret. It's a regret to where they knew what they did to me and their family members was wrong. All the spell work, all the treachery for the past 30 plus years. Manipulating documents, manipulating birth certificates, social security cards, manipulating paperwork that weren't supposed to be touched. They feel as though they can manipulate the 3D just like they were doing the 5D, vice versa. Like I said, it's a lot of government officials that are going to be arrested, and they're going to be sitting alone for a very long time. A lot of people are thinking about taking themselves out this realm, but the thing you have to understand that even leaving this realm, you're still going to purgatory. You can't flee from God. You may think you could flee from man, but you can't flee from God. And a lot of people think that, okay, if I continue to cloak myself and conceal myself, I won't be haunted or hunted. A lot of people turn from being the predators. Now they're starting to see that they are now the preys. And a lot of people are now trying to get on their knees and ask God for forgiveness. But you can't ask God for forgiveness because you knew from the start what would happen. You ignore God, you ignore the signs, the synchronicities, because you were so consumed with material things, so consumed with money, so consumed with jealousy, pride, revenge. People chose to have vengeful spirits, and they chose to feed off of their egos, and a lot of people are going to lose out on a lot of things. A lot of people are part of the Masons, the Eastern Stars, different government organizations, sheriffs, judges, court officials. It's a lot of things that went into manipulating different, like I said, documents, and people don't realize that you have to go to somebody above you to get those documents signed off and have those waivers waived. And a lot of people are trying to find their old connects so they can contact them and get in touch with them to see what they need to do. But you got to understand that those connects that you've had previously are not going to help you through your trials and your tribulations right now, because they're dealing with their own karma, their own debts. A lot of people thought that being spiritually gifted and being spiritually awakened, even as a warlock, a witch, somebody that had privilege and privy over different sorceries and different tools to use to not only manipulate but to consume and succumb others to their weaknesses and the patterns that people continuously have as repetitions. A lot of people didn't want to listen to me then. Every time I spoke to somebody, I spoke to them giving them wisdom, giving them insight, giving them knowledge. I didn't need to pick up a book to chant things and to speak different Latins and different languages to authorize and to manipulate the entities and deities into coming into my presence. See, a lot of people, they don't respect the spiritual realm because they keep that same energy that they have in the 3D and try to use it to proclamate and to improvise the 5D, vice versa. But you got to understand that you have no control over the entities and deities. Those deities and entities have control over you. A lot of people don't understand what resurrection means, but resurrection means things coming to the light. Everything that you've done in the dark is coming up. No matter if it's 50, 60 years ago, those things could still be resurrected, and people chose to stay hidden. But you got to understand that you chose the dark, you chose to be consumed, you chose to succumb to your own injuries, and people knew that I can prophesy and I can also speak things into existence, speak things that are facts and factuals. I don't go off of he say, she say, anything. Being able to connect with the divine, being able to connect with God and the ancestors and the realms. Being able to show appreciation, being able to speak to the spirits just like I speak to the mortals. You got to understand it's about respect. It's about balance. It's about being able to eat the same dish you try to feed somebody else. But so many people wanted to use poisons, potions, snake skins, venoms, fetus blood, so much consumption. People thought they were eating food, but little do they know they were actually eating parasites. There are spell works where you can actually feed somebody. It looks like food, but it's actually insects. It's actually fungus. It's actually different, like I said, parasites, different insects, different bones, different skeletons. You know, a lot of people were eating people's family members. You were eating your own family members. You know, people were feeding you your own friends. You know, that's why a lot of people's skeletons were hidden, because they were actually placing those same skeletons on people's tables, in cookouts, in functions. And I'm not talking about no rituals type functionings. I'm talking about functions where you may be thinking you're eating turkey, but you're truly eating something else, especially when people are cutting it up and freezing it and having to thaw it out. You know, that's why you have to be careful who you eat from and who you take things from. You know, you have to take into account that, you know, if you know that somebody is doing it to somebody else, why wouldn't they do it to you? You know, a lot of people are thinking that people are betraying them and have betrayed them. But you got to understand, like, how can you try to speak on somebody else's loyalty when you have no loyalty yourself? You know, and a lot of people are now being commissioned. You know, they're seeing the entities and deities that they summon, which is a good thing, you know, because you chose to summon them. You chose to trap. You chose to manipulate. A lot of people, like I said in previous videos, a lot of people chose to kill people so that they can trap people, ancestors, you know, not only in the spiritual realm, but on the physical realm. That's why a lot of people are trapped right now. You have a lot of people that still have business to finish. You know, that's why they said ghosts cannot exit this stage of the veil, because there's unfinished business. So you got to think about all those spirits that have unfinished business. They were taken out before their time. So out of jealousy and envy, you have to understand that. So while people are now going through what they're going through, like I said, you have nobody to blame but yourself. You were willing participants. You know, now those same people you were chanting with, circling altars with, eating with, celebrating with, now those same people are going to stand back, hide behind things, cloak and conceal themselves, be it their time, and watch what happens to you. So while they're watching what's happening to you, they're getting their ducks in a row. You know, trying to figure out, okay, is this going to happen to me, or am I going to go through a different situation, different circumstances? So while they're watching your circumstances fall into place, they're trying to make sure your circumstances is not going to be their circumstances. But little do they know, their circumstances is going to come in the form where you're not going to be able to control. You're not going to be able to try to conceal and to adapt your own circumstances, because you're trying to hide what you've done. So this is karma. People should have respected the spiritual realms, respected the entities and deities, you know, but they chose money. They chose material things. They chose things that could be gone tomorrow, things that could be gone 2 seconds from now, because a lot of people are losing their homes and their finances within a couple seconds. They're getting phone calls back to back. So why did you think that what's going on now couldn't happen then? Take notes.